Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Maggie, and if you're returning, welcome back also. I haven't seen you guys for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. It happens to me all the time, I know. That's how I always start my videos. But I'm back for another video. And today I want to go ahead and share with you guys another method of propagation I have been trying out. And this propagation is quite new to me. Last time I shown you guys how I do water propagation, and then I want to also show you guys how I do perlite propagation. But I kind of dove into something else. And that's Leca. So my friend Dash, she was coming over a few weeks back, and I was telling her about Leca and how I don't understand it and I don't really want to do anything with it, but I'm like kind of curious. And then she's like, well, I have this huge bag, let me grab you some. So of course, the kind person she is, she brought me like an entire gallon bag, a Ziploc bag of Leca. And so at first I was just using that Leca kind of in my soil mixture and to break it apart and make it more airy. And then over time I'm like, wait, let me actually utilize this Leca and see if I could root plants in there as cuttings instead of putting a full plant, just in case it doesn't work out. So that's how I landed on this little method, and it's right here, and I have it in a Tupperware like this, and I actually haven't looked in here. So I don't know how anything is looking, but I thought it would be kind of fun to look inside together, see how they're doing. But before I do that, I also want to share with you guys 3 of the Hoyas that I just unboxed because they are absolutely beautiful. And this right here is Hoya vitellinoides, and this is one of my top wish list plants. And I got this from a trade from Annie. She's such a cute person. So here is how this Hoya looks. It's very similar to like the Hoya meridithii, I would say, except these veins on these leaves are a little bit darker compared to the meridithii. And they just kind of lay differently, whereas the meridithii, I feel like those veins are kind of turquoise-like. But anyways, super excited about this Hoya right here. The leaves are absolutely huge. Another one is Hoya ficii, or Hoya ficii. Super cute little Hoya. This Hoya right here has been on my wish list for quite some time as well. And I just love it. It's really cute, it's dainty, and when it gets sun-kissed or sun-stressed, some people like to say, it gets like this red orange color to it. And yeah, the leaves are just very like succulent and thick, like cardboard kind of. I love it. And then a next one is Hoya australis lisa. This one right here took a little bit of a fall, a little bit of a beating during its trip, but that's okay. It's going to bounce back. I'm gonna leave the leaves be just the way they are right now, and then I'm gonna trim back the 2 or 3 leaves after a couple days to make sure it just acclimates. But I could see the new roots, and the new roots look very promising. So those are the 3 Hoyas that I just unboxed right before I decided to film this. So let's go ahead and dip into my box, and this is how it looks. So all I have going on here is I have this Tupperware. I layered some Leca balls. I also made sure to wash them, just get that like starch dirt off of them. It's kind of very similar to rice. Before eating rice, you would kind of rinse off the starch. So I did that with the Leca, and then I put a very minimal amount of water on the bottom, cut up the Hoyas that I wanted, and just put them in the box. The biggest thing is I wanted this to be able to save me some space within my counter, because my kitchen counter has turned into a propagation station. So there's like cuttings and 2-inch cups of soil everywhere. So I decided it was just time to get everything within a box or 2. So I have another box down there as well. So let me bring you guys maybe down or up, or just leave you guys as is. Maybe I'll leave you guys. Okay. So let's go ahead and pick out the first few. So some of these actually have been in here for maybe only 3 days, so I haven't checked on this maybe for 3 days. So some of this are in here that are kind of fresh. They weren't doing good where they were previously, so then I decided to put them in here. All right, Phew. Okay, I think that's a little better. You guys could see me. Okay, so that way I'm not kind of cut off. So yeah, some of these are very fresh, like this Hoya australis lisa and this Hoya australis lisa. Once again, I feel like Hoya australis lisa is very delicate. They don't really root well. They don't really root well in water either. So I decided to do some perlite and some Leca experiment with it. So far nothing, but these were just placed in there, so that's okay. And then I have another one, another australis. Okay, I think this one actually after 3 days might be doing something, but they're not limp yet, which if they're not limp, that's still pretty promising. Okay, so this one right here is a Hoya, no, not Hoya latifolia. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting. Can't think of it right now. Okay, but this Hoya right here, I traded with my friend Cody. I gave him my Hoya ring sand, and you could kind of see the roots starting to pop up there. The issue that I have with this Hoya is that its stem is very, very small. So when I put it into water, the water would evaporate, and I would pretty much have to add water every single day to the bottle that I had it in. And it just wasn't really working out, so I decided that if I put it in this box, it'll be able to be a little bit more humid and poke out more roots. And so that's what it seems to be doing, is poking out more roots than it was in the water. But whenever you guys do cuttings, I highly suggest you leave a little bit of a leeway and do bigger stem cuttings, because this right here is tiny and it's just a very long process to actually get it rooting. So sometimes it could be very frustrating. All right, and then in here we also have this Hoya croniana blackleaf. I absolutely love my Hoya cronianas, the Eskimo, Super Eskimo, and then this blackleaf. You could kind of see the leaves, towards the bottom of the leaves, you could see some of the roots coming in. So it's looking really, really good. I find that these roots are also very different compared to like water roots. All right, so then we have this one. Ooh, okay, this one's attached to a little Leca ball. So this one right here is Hoya numeroides, and you could go ahead and see right there, it's hanging on to a Leca ball, and then the end right there, that I like to call like spaghetti roots, because it literally reminds me of pasta. So those look really promising as well. Then I have a couple more in here. Once again, some of these that are in here have been here only for maybe like 2 days or something, so it's really not that much. So that's not that big of a deal. Okay, so we don't have anything on this Caudata yet, nor do we have anything on this Caudata, but they are still firm, which is great. As long as they're not going limp on me, then sometimes that's all that matters. Okay, so here we have Hoya, I think this might be Hoya Carmelite or Hoya Panchoy. I think this right here is Hoya Panchoy, and it has roots in 2 spots, towards the bottom and also towards the middle right there. It's starting to get roots. It's the cutest and most daintiest Hoya of them all. Just very thick sandpaper like leaves, very dainty leaves. Oh, it's just so cute. This right here is Hoya, oh brother, Hoya persiciana, something with a P. And I also had this in water, but it wasn't producing a growth at a rapid pace like I would want them to. So I decided that I'm going to go ahead and just chuck it in here and see how it does. I cut it up into 3 pieces, and it looks like it's kind of producing a little bit, maybe more growth than it was in water, but once again, not that big of a difference. I have 2 cuttings of those in Leca, and then one of them I ended up leaving in water and seeing how that does. Okay, but so far, not that big of a difference. I also must mention that I do not provide any additional light for this, and it's on the floor where it doesn't receive any sun. Maybe some rays in the afternoon, but otherwise it's really not much. So this box is just kind of like fending for itself. Of course, if you wanted to give it optimal conditions, you could put it in a south or east window, give it some grow light, maybe even a heat mat. But I'm not about that. I'm putting them in here and they have to fend for themselves basically. That's how I like my Hoyas to be. I like them to be easy, and yeah, if you could live, that means you're my type of Hoya. If you can't, sorry. All right, and then this right here is another Hoya, and this Hoya right here is Hoya engleriana. You could kind of see towards this part of the stem, the roots are coming through. It's one of those Hoyas that I'm not sure. I thought it would root faster because I got two pieces of this, and then the first piece rooted really, really well, and then the second piece is taking its sweet, sweet time. But then again, it has produced like 6 new leaves. So the efforts for this specific Hoya currently is going towards root growth and not necessarily, wait, let me take that back. For the Hoya engleriana, the energy is going towards the leaf growth, not the root growth. Okay, this one right here is very promising. This is exactly what we would want them to be doing. This is Hoya panchoi once again, and it is attaching itself to the leca balls. As you could see, the leca balls are attached to the roots, which is great because it's going to make the transition into soil that much easier once they start attaching. And then when I make a soil mixture, I'm going to make sure I have some leca balls in there and some perlites and just a very airy mixture. And yeah, it's just going to be an easier transition. What else do we have here? Okay, this one is Hoya bella, and this one looks like it has mold on it. Ugh. Okay, so this one right here is doing absolutely nothing, but I also wasn't doing anything in water because I previously had it sitting in water. It wasn't doing anything, so I decided I'm gonna plop it in here. It's not doing anything. I had another cutting of it, and for some, oh, did I mention that's called a mini bell? Hoya mini bell or Hoya, yeah, I think mini bell. Anyways, not really doing nothing. Okay, now I'm not happy. Shucks. Okay, give me a minute. Okay. Breathe. It's gonna be okay. I gotta tell myself it's gonna be okay. Do you just get those moments where like everything seems to be falling apart? One plant is rotting from root rot, another plant is getting yellow leaves, another plant might be infested with pests, and you just don't know what's going on. And now I'm kind of sad because if you guys follow me on my Instagram, you'll know that one of my favorites Hoyas is Hoya Thomsonii. I absolutely love this Hoya. It's just cute, it's fuzzy, I love it. So I have a cutting of it right here, Hoya Thomsonii Splash, and this one is just fine. It's still green. It's not really looking like it's doing anything. But the unfortunate thing, I'm so sad. Oh gosh, this is a disaster. This is a disaster. Oh my god, I am so sad. Okay, so this right here is the other part of the Hoya Thomsonii. The leaves are very, very flappy. It basically has no life and it's dead. The leaves, it's just mush. That's beyond repair. You just can't do anything about that. And I'm super duper sad. Okay, moving on. As you guys could tell, I'm not very good at hiding my feelings. So if I'm sad, if I'm upset, if I'm frustrated, my face says it all. So I'm a very expressive person. So if I feel a little bit down for the rest of the entirety of the video, it's because of that Hoya. Oh, I'm so bummed. I am so bummed. Oh, okay. Anyways, moving on. This right here is Hoya parviflora. I believe that is what it's called. And it's not doing anything either. So I'm actually surprised because I'm not feeling that impressed by this method. So I wanted to save some space on my counter But at this rate, I think I'd rather just chuck them back into the water vessels that I have. Darn. Okay, well, this one is Hoya Eskimo or Hoya Super Eskimo. As you guys could tell, the leaves are very, very silvery. It's just a very cute little cutting that I took. It has some new root growth on it, so at least this one is promising, because when I first put it in, it didn't have anything, and now it has 2 roots right there. So that's great. Okay, this next one, I'm just not feeling it either. The roots, or rather the leaves, are still firm. They're still firm, thick. They look okay. They're starting to get a little bit yellow of a hue to them. Just like that, you could kind of see it. But Hoya rotundiflora is just a hit or miss, honestly. I took 2 or 3 cuttings of this Hoya rotundiflora. The first few did great, and then this last one, which was a very long piece, didn't do anything. So I decided to cut it back because the other stem didn't have any leaves or anything. It was just a long tendril. So I decided to cut it back into this, but this hasn't done anything, and honestly, I'm probably going to lose it. Okay, moving on. I swear, I am so bummed about that Hoya Thompsonii. Okay, this is the Hoya parviflora. Once again, it's just a single leaf. I got it, basically the reason why I have 2 cuttings of the small little parviflora is because I got it as a one longer piece, and I decided to cut it up just so I could fill it back into the pot and make it just, you know, bigger. All right, this one looks great. Okay, this one is a Hoya caudata, but this one actually looks promising. So it has a bunch of aerial roots when I placed it into the prop box, and from the aerial roots, it actually is getting new roots. So it might be kind of hard to tell, but all around this stem right here, it is getting new roots, so that looks promising. But honestly, I think this first time doing Leca, I would just say it's a complete fail. It's a complete fail. Okay, we have one more box to go, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna title this video Leca Fail. I'm not sure whether I'm gonna even keep these in here or not. Okay, this box kind of scares me too. Okay, so this is the next box. Once again, it's a clean Tupperware. I have Leca in there with very minimal water towards the bottom. Hoya australis, not doing anything. Great! Starting off on a high note, right? Okay, I have a Hoya sunrise in here, doing absolutely nothing. Just wonderful. Okay, another Hoya sunrise that the stem and the leaves just fell apart. Oh no. I'm so sad. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, I see something and I don't even want to share it. Holy cow. I'm so mad at myself. Okay, so the Hoya sunrise is a goner. Okay, that's a bummer, so I'm just gonna leave it towards the end because I don't even want to share it right now. I am just so bummed. So bummed. Okay. Hoya sunrise and not doing anything. Could you guys just tell that the energy in me has just like dropped from like a 20 down to a -5? Yeah. Okay, another Hoya sunrise. I feel like Hoya sunrise is one of those Hoyas that it is so hard for me to propagate. Along with Hoya australis lisa, Hoya sunrise is so tricky to propagate. It's just like, it doesn't want to do anything. And it even has aerial roots. Okay, well, I'm bummed. Okay, another Hoya sunrise doing absolutely nothing. Bummed. Ugh. Okay, that's it. I do not recommend Leca. Do not recommend Leca. I'm just gonna go back to my old ways of doing things. Okay, another Hoya sunrise. This one's looking great. It's nice and thick and plump. Then I have another sunrise. This one looks like it's fucking rotting. Great, just fucking great. Ugh. Not happy with you, stupid little guy. Okay. No, just not happy. Okay, Hoya lacanosa. Hoya lacanosa is doing something. It has roots and it also has a new growth. So this is actually called Hoya lacanosa Lankai Islands. So Hoya lacanosa isn't just like one species, Hoya lacanosa. There's so many species within Hoya lacanosa. On Instagram recently I was showing my Hoya lacanosa var lacanosa and someone was telling me that's not a lacanosa, that is a croniana. But in fact it is a lacanosa, there's just various species within this species, if that makes sense. But yeah, this one right here is actually looking really great. It has put out quite a few roots there and towards the bottom, and it has a new growth on top. So I am proud of this little guy. Proud of you, little guy. That was a little Hoya hug. Okay, this next one, I really don't want to share it. I just don't. I am so sad about this one. So sad. Let's have a moment together, shall we? I'm sorry, little guy. I'm sorry that I made your life short-lived. I am terribly sorry. Moment of silence. Okay, we're back. This is my Hoya maniparensis. And it has completely rotted. Oh my gosh. Okay, so literally the two Hoyas within these two boxes that I was most excited about are basically dead. Hoya thomsonii is dead. Hoya maniparensis is dead. Like, these are beyond savable. Like, this is it. So now I'm sad. Hoya mini bell has a little bit of mold going on, but I could chop that off. One piece of the Hoya sunrise is completely dead. Everything else has very minimal roots or no new growth. It's just alive, but it's not thriving and it's not doing much. So, Leca, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. You guys know? Do you guys know the movie Grinch? When the Grinch goes, I hate you, and I hate you, or something like that, right? And then there's like the echo, and it goes, you know, because when he's like up in the mountains, the echo like repeats what he's saying. Yeah, I think that's a line from the Grinch. But anyways, I don't recommend Leca one bit. Just not feeling it, not too happy about it. Oh, I actually missed one. Okay, there's one more Hoya, and this is right here. Okay, I haven't even checked on it because I took it out because the moment I see my Hoya maniparensis, I took this one out to get to it. But this right here is Hoya chinguensis or chinguensis, something like that. This one's actually looking promising. When I got it, it was stuck in soil. That is why the actual stem here is black. It's not rotting. It was just in soil, hence why it is black. Some of the leaves are black too, but it really didn't have any roots. It was basically stuck in soil. You could see where the penetration of a root was trying to come through, but it didn't have anything just yet. Now, because it's been in the Leca, it is actually pushing out new growth right there. So this actually was put in with the same time as the maniparensis, the Caudata, oh, excuse me, the Caudata, the Australis lisa, many of the same ones were put in at the same time. So I'm just kind of surprised as to why those are not pushing out growth. But yet the Hoya lacanosa, Hoya chinguensis, Hoya panchoi are. So I find that kind of interesting, why some are actually producing growth and roots and others are not, and others are even dying. So I think I have a new method of propagating that I'm gonna try. So as you guys already know, I also like to do perlite, but I decided to use Leca. And I'm gonna have to go ahead and update my friend on what I think of this method, or maybe she'll just watch this video. But I think what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to take a big tub, like way bigger than this, go to Target, pick up a big clear tub, and this time what I'm gonna do is put my little vessels of water within the actual tub, so then that way the water might evaporate at a slower rate versus when it is out into my kitchen on the counter. So I think that is going to be my next step. But honestly, I'm ready to have these Hoyas potted up and not have to take any more cuttings for quite some time. Because I feel very positive and I feel very confident in rooting Hoyas, but because I have got to the point where there was just so many plants on the kitchen counter that I just could not do it. I wanted them to be in one spot. So I ended up getting a recreational plant room in the house that like a week ago we didn't have. So once I got that plant recreational room to myself, I decided that I also want to get more plants off the counter and put them in that room as well. But it's just really not working out, so I'm gonna have to find a different method. And then perlite is great too, but with perlite I also put it in like little cups, and then once again I would seal off the top, or I could also put it in the bin or something, just so it kind of just stays away from the counter and takes up less space. But this is a Hoya failure propagation video. Woohoo! Alright guys, I hope you kind of found this interesting, or maybe informing as to why you shouldn't try Leca, or maybe you should try Leca, but instead of trying out like 20-30 different Hoya cuttings, go ahead and try with just one. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the video there. If you enjoyed this in any way, please leave me a thumbs up, and if you did actually watch it all the way through, go ahead and leave me a flower emoji in the comments. I'd really appreciate that.